Good morning. My name is Zak Normandin. I'm the founder and CEO of Iris Nova, and we've been building for the last 4 years the infrastructure that supports the direct sale of consumer products without the assistance of distributors and brokers and retailers. So what does that mean? We're building a portfolio. We have technology that's driving all of that. We have retail. We have data. There's a lot of different things at play, and I'm going to take you through all of them. So I've been in the CPG space for about 12 years now. I started a company in 2008. It was a kids' food company, and we sold into Target and Whole Foods and some of the bigger national retailers. And what was always very frustrating to me about that experience was that it was very challenging to basically get new products to consumers quickly. So I was faced always with a buyer first. The buyer had to approve the product. And then after the buyer approved the product, we would have to basically get it into distribution. And then we'd have to wait for a reset schedule. And then eventually, sometimes up to a year later, we would have the product on store shelves. And I was always trying to figure out a way to bypass that system with my last brand. So I sold the company in 2013 and then really started focusing on basically trying to solve for that. And I was fascinated by the beverage industry. I think beverage is extremely interesting because the beverages that consumers choose to drink say a lot about who they are as individuals. So the type of coffee you drink every day, the type of bottled water you choose when you go to a convenience store, all those things say something about who you are as a consumer. So with a direct consumer brand, the great thing about that type of an experience or relationship you have with a consumer is that you can basically create an aesthetic around the brand, obviously before a consumer purchases it, and kind of show them the lifestyle of the brand that you're selling to them. So we created in 2015 a brand called Dirty Lemon, which some of you may have heard of, and we decided to make it all direct to consumer. So bypassing that, distribution element, the retail, the brokerage, all of those different steps along the way. And these trucks, Coke and Pepsi, this is the way that most beverage products are distributed to consumers. Why did we choose the beverage industry? It's massive. It's expected to be almost $2 trillion by 2021, and that's a huge opportunity. The interesting thing about beverage specifically is that 60% of the beverage industry is held by Coca-Cola and Pepsi globally. So you look at a massive disproportionate share of ownership coming from two CPG conglomerates that have historically sold carbonated soft drinks. I think there's a lot of opportunity to build a new CPG conglomerate made up of wellness brands that take advantage of inefficiencies in the traditional distribution system that Coke and Pepsi utilize. So the new grocery store is on your phone. We think that, when you look at the data, it's very compelling, and you can understand very quickly that that products that consumers have been historically purchasing in grocery stores will very soon be happening on a phone. So almost 70% of millennial consumers by 2020, I guess next year. I thought that stat was different, but by 2020 we'll be buying all of their food on a cell phone. 70% of consumers, actually no, that's it. 70% of consumers buying groceries online by 2024, and online consumers are 70% more likely to repurchase products that they've purchased online versus in stores. There's a lot of great data around this. Dirty Lemon is proof of concept in this and proves out some of these data points that I'm referencing. So we've produced over 2 million bottles since we started the brand in 2015. 90% of our sales have been direct to consumer. We have over almost 200,000 consumers now that are purchasing the product regularly. 60% of our customers come back and reorder the product within 90 days of their initial purchase. And we've done all of this through text message. So that was the part I left out in the beginning. So we developed a platform that utilizes a technology that we call Conversational Commerce, which allows customers to reorder all of our products via text message. So when you're on your last bottle of Dirty Lemon, you pick up your phone and you text Dirty Lemon, and you can reorder the product. We deliver same day or next day in every US market. So we have 7 warehouses around the US, and we're delivering every day to all of those markets. This is the Dirty Lemon line. We've launched 13 beverages since 2015. This is just a selection of them. We launched the First Cbd Beverage in the US, which we've since discontinued. We did a collaboration with Vogue magazine. We've done a number of other fashion or lifestyle-related collaborations. It's a premium product, $10 a bottle, and we intentionally built a premium brand first to prove out this model. It's easy to sell something cheap online. It's more challenging to sell something that has a higher price point. So this product is $65 for a case, or if you decide that you want a case a month, we call that VIP, and the case price is $45. And this is what conversational commerce looks like. So we have 2 different sequences here, one with a bot. We purchased the best chatbot in the world last year in 2018. Literally, it was named the best chatbot in the world. And we have basically a bot that's handling about 50% of the inbound customer conversations. That's the conversation stream to the left. On the right, we have a situation where the bot handled some of the conversation, but then basically a customer asked a question that was outside of the logic that we created for the bot. So that gets pushed to live customer service for a customer service rep to answer the request live. We have 24/7 live customer service. Anytime you want to place an order, you can do that, and there's someone there to help you with it. So the technology that we developed, like I said, we purchased Poncho, which was actually a technology that was developed for a weather system. We incorporated that into our tech stack. And then, yeah, I just covered all this. Our goal this year is to beat Amazon Prime on shipping speed. So we're doing same-day deliveries right now in New York and Los Angeles. We expect to have same-day deliveries online in New York, LA, Miami, and Chicago by the end of this year. And then we're delivering next day in every other market in the US. So orders are getting packed up same day, and then they get shipped to consumers the following day. This is a retail concept that we launched last year called The Drugstore. It's the second brand underneath the Iris Nova portfolio. We wanted to figure out a way to take the experience that we had developed for consumers online and bring it to more of an offline setting. The Drugstore is a grab-and-go, or a walk-in grab-and-go vending machine, we call it, or a grab-and-go cooler. So you walk into this space, which this doesn't very accurately kind of present the concept, but it's about 100 square feet, about probably a little bit smaller than the size of this stage. Customer walks in from the street, and in front of them is a cooler that has about 1,000 bottles of Dirty Lemon right now. They go into the fridge, they grab a product, whatever beverage they'd like from the cooler, and then they just send us a text message to place an order for the product. So if they're a current customer, we charge their account on file. If they are a new customer, we send them a link to check out on their phone. But there's no cashiers in the store, and we thought that we weren't sure if this was going to work when we launched it. This was last year when we launched the first location in New York City. We have about 100 bottles on a not a very busy street. It's a busy street, but not necessarily a busy pedestrian street. We have about 100 bottles that move out of this fridge every single day, and 95% of them are paid for. So everyone thought it was crazy that, people are going to steal from you. There is less than 5% theft in this store. And same, we just opened a second location in Hudson Yards in New York, and exact same theft right there. And I think the way that we think about that is, any store you walk into, you could logically go to the cooler, grab a bottle of something, walk out of the store, and no one's going to stop you. We know to stand in line and make a purchase and actually buy something because it's the right thing to do. And we've built an incredible group of customers, specifically in New York City, and where we launch this in other cities, we'll be in target markets where we have visibility already. But in New York City, we decided to put this location specifically in an area where we knew we had a lot of customers. So this is a place where people are coming on their way to work, or maybe when they're coming home from work or going to a workout or something like that. It's in their home neighborhood, and they're already familiar with the brand. In the back of every drugstore, we have a beautiful cocktail bar that we use. It's a private basically event space that we're using to test out new beverage concepts before they're launched into bottled format. So this is the store in Tribeca, and then this is the location at Hudson Yards. And our vision over the next few years is to build a portfolio of brands that utilize the same technology that Dirty Lemon and the drugstore use. This will be both private label brands like Dirty Lemon, where we own 100% of them, and then third-party brands, which are brands that we're investing in. So we announced a plan to invest up to $100 million or $100 million in brands over the next 3 to 5 years. We're announcing our first 4 brands actually tomorrow. So that'll be news. Very exciting for us because this is the first time that we're actually utilizing the technology that we've been spending the last 4 years building to grow external brand properties. And in summary, we look at the beverage industry as a very unique opportunity in consumer where this industry hasn't changed much in 100 years. So in December of last year, we actually partnered with Coca-Cola. They're our largest external shareholder. So they led our last round of funding. We think that when you look at Coca-Cola, for example, and we have the greatest respect for Coca-Cola, and a lot of what we're building is a model based on what they've accomplished over 100 years' time. But when you look at Coca-Cola, so Diet Coke, for example, has declined in consumption over the years because people aren't drinking as much diet soda. But if Coke had data on every person that's purchased Diet Coke since it was launched in the 80s, they would be able to create a new product to target to those specific consumers. And that's what we're trying to do. We don't believe that billion-dollar brands are being built right now that will exist like Coca-Cola does in the future. We're trying to build million-dollar LTV customers that can basically continue to be served new and exciting options from the brands that they love and that they spend their money on. So I have 3 minutes. I don't know if we can do questions, but.
We do have time if someone we have time for one question if someone would like to throw one up.
Anything?
Zach, your 2 stores, are you seeing similar, I don't know how you track them, but are you seeing similar consumers in both those stores you're talking about?
It's a dramatically different customer base in both locations. So Hudson Yards, for those of you who have been, is a lot of tourists, a lot of international consumers coming in. I think that there's also a novelty element to walking into a store with no one inside of it, and so it's attractive in that way. I think the same. We have less New Yorkers that are purchasing in Hudson Yards, and then in Tribeca, it's a lot of locals. So I'd say it's the same type of consumer, but not necessarily the same demographic of consumer. So what's exciting is that later this week, in both locations, we'll have our portfolio brands inside of the fridge as well. So historically, we've just had Dirty Lemon products. As we add new brands to the platform, the fridge inside each location will start to look like a bodega or a beverage cooler at your grocery store. So.
With some of what you're saying, Hudson Yard, are you picking up a lot of data, international data, as to what Europeans from Germany love the beverage, or I bet that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, so we did build, so just over the last couple months, so basically since Coca-Cola invested in December until now, we've been focusing on building out fully functional SaaS functionality on the platform and also incorporating other messaging channels other than SMS. So we have WhatsApp functionality now, we can do international phone numbers, all of this stuff. So yeah, we are collecting that data, and this is really the value out of what we're building is that when you can trace a customer journey from the time that they purchase one product through to when they receive the product, there's incredible value there. And the interesting thing to note, I have 1 minute. So we have about 200,000 customers with Dirty Lemon right now. If any of the portfolio brands that we're bringing on, as customers go to order those products, if they've already purchased Dirty Lemon in the past, they won't need to enter their billing, their shipping, their credit card information. All the customer data is pooled at the parent level, and then it's utilized across all of the brands in the portfolio. So we're reducing all of the friction that you would face in basically having to enter your information every time you want to place an order without having to download an app or enter a username or password or anything like that. So imagine, let's say you like Aesop soap. Imagine, you're on your last pump of Aesop soap at home, and you pull out your phone after you're done washing your hands, and you text Aesop directly to reorder the product, and then you get it the next day. So we think in the future, every brand is going to have a phone number and a website, and the website's going to be for looking at pretty pictures of products, and the phone number is going to be the place where actual transaction volume happens. So people are going to be placing orders, people are going to be asking customer service questions, checking on orders, et cetera. And I think for high velocity products that consumers are buying on a regular basis, it's an incredible way to transact with consumers, because the relationship is the most meaningful thing. So anyways, I'm out of time. Thank you guys very much.